One of the issues that women experience in a relationship, and especially in a marriage, occurs when the woman earns more than the man, when she is out earning him. Now, that might be that she's earning a little bit more, or it could be that she's earning significantly more. It could also be something that happens where the man ends up losing his job so that she's the only one that is earning money for a certain length of time. And this will cause problems. It will tend to cause problems. It won't always cause problems, but it often will. And the reason why has to do with a man's instinct. Now, a man is typically not going to feel great when a woman starts out earning him, if his masculine instinct is online. If his masculine instinct is completely suppressed or mostly suppressed, then he might not care. He might even think, oh, it's a great thing. She's earning lots of money. I don't really have to worry so much anymore. I can take that burden, that responsibility off of myself. For example, prior to my masculine instinct coming online 4 or 5 years ago, I would say my wife actually did out earn me. And I wasn't trying to make much money. I didn't even care because I didn't have that provider instinct, right? The masculine instinct, a big part of it is that provider instinct. It is the instinct to provide, the instinct to protect, and the instinct to lead and to be respected and seen as the leader by his woman. So many years ago, my instinct wasn't online. My wife was making more money than me and I didn't care. It's like, great, you're making more money. It means there's more money for the household. And logically, that is true, right? That's a good thing. There's more money for the household, which means there's more things that you can buy and afford and less financial stress. However, that will change. The way that a man reacts to a woman out earning him does change when his instinct comes online. And it will be further exacerbated in a much more negative way if he also has insecurities on top of that masculine instinct. That's what we're going to get into today. Hello, my name is Zach Rohde, and I am here to lead you into creating the relationship of your dreams by learning how to inspire a man into cherishing you with your feminine energy and with what I call feminine communication. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, make sure you do that below, hit the notification bell, and be sure to like this video because I am going to make sure that it's a good one for you today. So, when a man's masculine instinct is online, it's very important to understand that he's going to be very different. He's going to show up differently. His emotions are going to be different than a man whose instincts are suppressed, right? A man whose instincts are suppressed, what is he looking for? He is looking for either a roommate with benefits or he's looking for a mother to take care of him, okay? A masculine man, when his instincts are online, what he is looking for, what he needs is a woman to take care of. That is what fulfills him. He needs to be able to take care of his woman, and he needs to be looked up to by his woman. Okay? That's his need. And this isn't a want, this isn't a desire, this is a core instinctual need. Now, to understand this, the flip side of this, if you're watching this video and you like my videos, then your feminine instinct is probably somewhat online, at least, if not very much online. If it wasn't online, you're probably going to hate me and you're not going to stick around. It's not going to resonate. But if your feminine instinct is online somewhat, then you're going to understand that your need as a woman is to be taken care of. It's to be cherished. It's to be protected. It's to have a man who is, say, stronger than you, who is putting you under his care to protect you and to take care of you, to cherish you, to love you in that way. Okay? So when that need doesn't get met, you feel bad. Understandably, right? If you have a man who's not protecting you, doesn't really care, treating you more like a roommate, wants you to lead, wants you to take charge, wants you to plan, all that stuff, that doesn't feel good for you because your feminine instinct, that need to be cherished, is not being met. So, same thing for a man. And when a woman out earns a man, what happens? Remember, part of his need, along with like being the leader to be able to cherish his woman, it's to be needed. If his woman doesn't need him, or if he perceives that she doesn't need him, then he doesn't feel good in the relationship. He doesn't really feel like he has a place. He starts to lose interest. Like, what's the point of even being here? A man needs to be needed. And I'm saying this in a healthy way. I'm not saying this in like a codependent way. This is actually a core need for a healthy masculine man, right? Even if he's somewhat emasculated, but his masculine instinct is somewhat online. It's a core need. And so if you're out earning him, he's going to at least perceive that you don't need him as much. Now, of course, you might need him in many, or you do, I'm sure, need a man in many other non-financial ways, right? You need him to be there for you emotionally. You need him to hold that space for you. You need him to see you. You need him to hear you. You need him to plan and initiate and take charge and make decisions and be the one that's, taking on the responsibility, right? You need him for so many different things. And I just listed a short list. There's so many more things. But financial provision is a big one, right? And it's one that men will typically really consider important. They'll consider it really important. So if you take it away from him, where it's like you're out earning him, you don't need his financial provision anymore, even if he doesn't have any insecurities whatsoever, it's not going to feel good for him. Now, I'm going to use myself and my experience to explain this, because I don't have these insecurities. Like there's men who have really big insecurities around this stuff, and I'm going to talk about that. We got time in this video. I don't have that stuff at all. Like, I know my wife needs me for many different things, and financial provision is just one of those many things. If a man has a lot of insecurities and he identifies with, like, he has insecurities, so he has low self-worth. He doesn't really value a lot of things about himself. He doesn't recognize how valuable he is to a woman, to you, if you're in a relationship with a man. Then the money is going to be a really huge piece to this. And if you take that away from him because you're out earning him, then he's going to feel really bad. For me, I'm the one that's the sole provider in the family. My wife takes care of our daughter and stays at home with her. I stay at home too, but I'm working. And so I'm making 100% of the money, and I make plenty of money, right? It's not going to be something that we ever have to worry about. But I can just put myself into, let's say like future Zach's shoes here, where, I don't know, I lost my job, or I started making way less money, or my wife started making way more money. I wouldn't feel insecure. I wouldn't have any fear that, she's going to lose me or like not be interested in me or anything anymore. But there would be that kind of piece missing now, where it's like, oh, I felt so good about being able to take care of my family, about being able to provide for my wife, provide her this lifestyle, provide her that financial safety and everything. And now she doesn't really need me for that anymore. There's going to be that piece where it's like, I just don't feel quite as good in this dynamic. Now, if you've gotten this far in the video, I'm going to give a little bit at the end. I probably will give a little bit at the end of what to do about it, because, I'm not really in the business of teaching women to make themselves small. Okay? Women have historically done that for long enough, and it's a problem. Now, if you don't want to work, that's a totally different story. I'm totally supportive of a woman not working if a man's able to financially provide for her. That's fantastic. But if you love your job, or if you kind of need to work because your man's not making enough to provide for the full family or for you, well, then that's another issue entirely. And just quitting your job or like downgrading yourself to a job that doesn't pay as well, that's not a very good solution. Now, before we get into that, though, there's one other aspect to this, and I briefly touched on it. It's the insecure man. So if he doesn't have this self-worth, he's going to get butthurt about this. He's going to really not like the fact that you're out earning him. In fact, if he's not really self-aware and he has a lot of insecure behaviors, he might even do things to kind of guilt you into earning less, or to quitting your job, or into sabotaging things entirely, right? It's not doing it on purpose. It's just he's trying to get his need met for you to see him as the hero in whatever way he knows how, which is sometimes really immature behaviors, right? And that is stemming from insecurity, right? Like I said, it's not just masculine instinct. There's the masculine instinct, and then there's the insecurities on top of the masculine instinct that exacerbates the emotional reaction and tends to compel a man into much less mature behaviors. You're really not going to like it. You're going to lose attraction for a man that does that, the more that he does that, right? And lose the trust in him. So if you find yourself in such a situation, now you might be dating a man now or in the future, or you might be in a relationship with such a man, you might be in a marriage with such a man. The question is, okay, what do I do here? Regardless of how much it's coming from insecurity versus instinct, ultimately that doesn't matter much as far as how you're going to deal with things. The main thing that you can do is focus on you to become, we'll call it, the most feminine embodied and reverential woman you can be. It's like you're revering your man. And no, that doesn't make you less than, right? Because he should be cherishing you, right? He should be fully devoted to you. So it's an equal relationship in different ways, right? It's a healthy dynamic. His devotion and your reverence, right? Your deep respect. That's what reverence means. It's a deep respect for your man. You're looking up at him. He's looking down at you in a positive sense, where it's like he's taking care of you because he loves you. He's cherishing you. You're under his protection. You're being given his provision. So there is the financial provision, but there's so many other forms of provision, and there's so many ways for you to let go of control with your man, fully receive everything that he is giving you, right? What else is he giving you? He's giving you his time, his attention, clarity. Hopefully he's teaching you in some kind of way. He's coaching you in some kind of way. And every woman needs that, right? It doesn't mean you're incompetent that you need coaching from a man. Everybody needs coaching. I need coaching. It's just, the ideal is that you're getting that coaching, that teaching from your man, right? Because that creates so much polarity. One of the things that you need, that every woman needs, is to learn how to be more feminine, to learn how you're being disrespectful, to learn where you're still holding on to control, where you're not being fully vulnerable. And you can let go and learn how to inspire a man into coaching you more and taking care of you more in that sense by learning feminine communication. By learning how to communicate in a feminine way, being I call it an active follower, to inspire his care, inspire his leadership. Because what's going to happen is the more that you step into that role of follower, and healthy follower, not passive, blind follower, who's in her feminine self-worth, who's opening herself up to receive her man fully, what is going to happen is he is going to feel more needed. Right? He's going to realize increasingly, hey, it's not just the financial provision that matters. She needs me in all of these other ways. And then all of those other ways start to overshadow the whole financial provision aspect. Now, is it ideal in polarity terms to not have the financial provision piece where he's the one that is the breadwinner or the only one working? No, it's not ideal. It doesn't need to be ideal, right? Let's just make your love life as good as it can reasonably be with your circumstances, right? So if you're working and if you're out earning, you can still have a very polarized relationship where the man is still in charge. He's still taking care of you. He still feels like the man. He's still providing for you in all of these wonderful ways. And you're making more money than him. But it becomes like not a big deal. The other thing, I'm only going to touch on this very briefly. I'll do other videos on this, is in regards to money management. Now, if it's a marriage, the man should be in charge of the money. He should be in charge of managing it, investing it. It doesn't mean that you don't have access to a bank account or anything, but he should be the one that's making all of those final decisions. Now, if you don't trust him with that, well, you probably shouldn't have married him in the first place, right? That should be something that you trust your man to be able to do. And if you don't, well, you're going to have to learn how to navigate that. It doesn't mean you just give all that stuff up, especially if he's not fully competent with that. And you have to be able to use feminine communication to do that. And by the way, this feminine communication stuff, this will transform everything in your love life. This is what I teach. It's what I teach in my academy program, my dating course, my books, my master class, everything. And there's a lot of nuance to it. You have to learn how to navigate these kind of situations to communicate your needs in a way where you're going to be safe. Because if you just are like, oh, Zach said that the most polarized thing is for the man to manage all the money. Okay, man's in charge of all the money. Now I'm going to do nothing, but he's not actually competent yet. And you just give all that up. Well, you just put yourself in a very vulnerable and safe position. I don't want to be responsible for that, okay? You need to be able to do this safely, which means using healthy feminine communication and start letting go of that kind of stuff when the potential negative outcomes are small. He learns how to be increasingly competent as you give up that control. And I did the same thing in my marriage, right? Like I didn't take over all the finances right away, even though I was very competent with everything, but my wife just didn't trust me. She didn't use perfect feminine communication to communicate that, but I had to teach her how to communicate that instead of her leading and resisting, and judging and a whole bunch of other things that she did. So if you can get to the point where it's a dynamic where you might be out earning him, but he's managing the money and he's doing it competently and he's doing it devotionally, where he is taking care of you. He's not, wasting money, spending things selfishly or stupidly or anything like that. That's a huge load off you. Right? Because this isn't about, again, I'll harp on this on all my videos or many of my videos. It's not about you being less than or inferior or incapable or anything like that. It's like a feminine woman, when your instinct is online, you don't want to have all of these responsibilities. Part of that is you really don't want to feel responsible for bringing in the income, right? Like if you're in touch with that, you know what I'm talking about. You might be okay with working a job, you might like it, but you don't want that responsibility of I gotta keep working, otherwise everything falls apart. Or the only way you could possibly like that is if you have really low self-worth and you're strongly identifying with being helpful and competent and all of that stuff. But that's not really you, that's just your wounding. So you need to learn how to let all of this go, let go of all of the responsibilities that you have, so that the man can step up and take all the responsibilities, because that is his gift for you. That's his gift to you, is for him to have all the responsibility so that you can let go and be in your feminine as much as possible. If not while you're working, then at least when you come home. It's like he's taking care of the investments, he's taking care of the bills, the budgeting, all of that stuff. Here's the paycheck to add to the pool, and he's going to take care of everything else. Right? That's going to feel relatively good for a woman. That's going to create a reasonable amount of polarity. And if you're really grateful for that and you're using feminine communication to create that dynamic, and you're otherwise looking up to him and respecting him and following his leadership and not resisting and using feminine communication in every way possible, even in a dynamic where you're out earning him, you're both going to feel relatively quite good. There's going to be a lot of polarity. He's going to feel respected. He's going to feel needed. And you're going to feel relatively cherished. That's the best that you can do under those circumstances, which is still way better than what the vast majority of women are currently dealing with. So we got to make your love life as good as it possibly can be. All right, so if you'd like help with that or with any other issue in your love life, if you want to learn how to communicate your needs and problems and feelings and everything that are coming up for you, to be able to inspire a man into polarizing the dynamic and to taking full responsibility for everything in the relationship, to take those burdens off of you, this is what I help you do. And by the way, all of my offers, they're below this video. So open up the description. You'll see all my offers. You'll see all the links to my offers, and you can start learning right away. Right? My YouTube videos were very focused on explaining all the problems that are going on and why polarity is going to shift everything for you and give you a little bit of the solutions. But my offers are helping you understand this stuff in more depth and learn how to apply everything, especially the feminine communication and the energy shifts, to shift out of your unhealthy control patterns that are sabotaging your love life, and learn how to inspire man into fully taking care of you, whether you're single right now or in a relationship. Most important one of my offers for those who are ready for that is my Academy offer. In my Academy, that's where we help our clients hands-on, giving advice, giving feedback, helping you solve your problems, helping you make these shifts, very hands-on, right? If that's interesting to you, if that's important to you, if you want to open yourself into being led out of your control patterns by a man, by us, and be taught feminine communication to make it way easier to make these shifts in your love life, you're going to find that at thedreamrelationship.com. You'll find out what we do, and if that all resonates, then book a call with me, and the link for that would be below that video. That's thedreamrelationship.com. So it's that or any of my other offers. Again, below the video in the description. Get started. Start changing your love life today.